Imagine being just 17 years old and walking onto a World Cup pitch with millions of people watching. Most teenagers would be overwhelmed by the pressure, but not Gilberto Mora. While the world was focused on football's biggest stars, a young Mexican Wonderkid quietly started making history. At only 17 years and 240 days old, Gilberto Mora became the youngest Mexican player ever to appear at a World Cup, breaking a record that had stood for nearly a century. What's even more incredible is that he was only 5 days older than Pelé when the Brazilian legend made his own World Cup debut. But Mora wasn't there simply to gain experience. The moment he stepped onto the field, Mexico looked different. The tempo increased, the creativity improved, and suddenly there was a spark that had been missing. It felt like the beginning of something special. To understand why football fans are so excited about Gilberto Mora, we need to go back to where it all started. Born in Tuxtla Gutierrez, Chiapas, football was already in his blood. His father was a professional footballer who spent years playing in Mexico before working within Club Tijuana's youth system. From a very young age, Mora stood out from everyone around him. Coaches quickly noticed that he wasn't just talented, he understood the game at a level far beyond his age. While most young players relied on speed or physical ability, Mora relied on intelligence. He could read the game, predict movements, and find spaces before anyone else even noticed they existed. His rise through Club Tijuana's academy was rapid. At just 15 years old, he was given his professional debut in Liga MX. Most teenagers would simply be happy to make an appearance. Mora immediately made an impact, providing an assist and showing no signs of nervousness. A few weeks later, he scored his first professional goal and became the youngest goal scorer in Liga MX history. Suddenly, all of Mexico was talking about him. Fans gave him the nickname El Bombero, which means the firefighter, because whenever his team needed rescuing, Mora always seemed to show up. Whether it was scoring crucial goals or creating opportunities for teammates, he consistently delivered in important moments. What makes Gilberto Mora so special isn't his size or his physical strength. In fact, standing at only 1.68 meters tall, he's smaller than many players he faces. What separates him from everyone else is his football IQ. Mora sees the game differently. He spots passing lanes before they open. He knows where defenders will move before they make their runs. His close control allows him to glide through tight spaces, while his vision helps him create chances that most players wouldn't even attempt. Watching him play doesn't feel like watching a teenager. It feels like watching a seasoned professional who has spent years competing at the highest level. That's why some scouts have started comparing him to Barcelona midfielder Pedri. Both players rely on intelligence, vision, and technical ability rather than physical dominance. As Mora continued impressing at club level, it didn't take long for Mexico's national team to come calling. During the Gold Cup, he showed that he could perform on an international stage just as comfortably as he did in Liga MX. He played with confidence, created chances, and helped Mexico lift the trophy. For most players, that achievement alone would be enough to make headlines. But Mora was only getting started. At the Under-20 World Cup, he looked like one of the best players in the entire tournament. Against some of the most talented young footballers in the world, he consistently stood out. He scored goals, provided assists, and repeatedly rescued Mexico in difficult situations. Match after match, he proved that his talent wasn't just hype, it was real. His performances soon caught the attention of European clubs. Reports began linking him with some of the biggest teams on the continent, with Barcelona reportedly monitoring his development closely. It isn't difficult to understand why. Modern football values intelligent, versatile players who can operate between the lines, create chances, and control the rhythm of a match. Mora fits that profile perfectly. He can play as an attacking midfielder, drift out wide, or operate deeper in midfield. His ability to adapt makes him an extremely valuable prospect for any top club. Then came the biggest moment of his career so far, the 2026 World Cup. While established stars dominated the headlines, Mora quietly announced himself to a global audience. Every touch showed confidence. Every movement showed maturity. Even when defenders crowded around him, he never looked intimidated. Instead, he continued demanding the ball and trying to make things happen. For a player who wasn't even old enough to vote in many countries, his composure was remarkable. The occasion didn't scare him. If anything, it seemed to motivate him. The most exciting part of Gilberto Mora's story is that we're still only at the beginning. Most footballers are still playing youth football at 17. Mora is already breaking records, winning trophies, representing his country at a World Cup, and attracting interest from Europe's elite clubs. His combination of intelligence, creativity, and fearlessness makes him one of the most exciting young talents in world football today. Mexico has produced great players before, but many believe Mora could become something even bigger. The next few years will determine whether he fulfills that potential, but one thing is already clear. Gilberto Mora is not a normal teenager. He is a special talent, and the football world is starting to notice. So remember the name, because if his current trajectory continues, this won't be the last time you hear about Gilberto Mora. It might just be the beginning of a legendary career.